Okay, sir. So should I start, sir?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session where we have co-founder interaction. There'll be two startups who will be sharing their journey. Uh, Mine's startup, which is Ubergraph, and there's another startup called Prep Insta who will be sharing the journey next. So they'll be there by around 5:30. And after that, we'll have the visualization exercise. It's an NLP. I really enjoy doing it. So for the visualization exercise, request everyone to be stable and in a chair, right? Ideally in an office where you can spend, say, 15 minutes in that visualization exercise. Yeah. Yeah. So over to you, Ravindra. Yeah, you can start.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ravindra, and I'm a co-founder and CEO of Ubergrad. Ubergrad is basically an overseas education consultancy. We help students pursue their masters in 6 English-speaking destination countries like US, UK, Canada, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. So basically, I started the business in 2016. And we were more like a traditional consultancy where we would invite students to come to the office. We counsel them and we tell them what is the profile and all that. So this went on for some time till about the time we were hit by COVID when we almost had 0 students going abroad and all that. At that point of time, Jaydeep, my co-founder, was actually running his own edtech platform in the assessment and test preparation space. It was called GT Cube, and he was offering a platform where students can take their GRE and IELTS examinations and online prepare everything. So he was giving out mock tests, he was giving out content very simple and using adaptive learning technologies and all that. So, but and both of us are from BITS Pilani. He's like, I think 16 years junior to me from BITS Pilani. And both of us are from IIM. I'm from IIM Calcutta and Jaydeep is from IIM Cohort. So because of this BITS connection, we were generally interacting when he was doing his own venture and I was running Ubergrad. But then post-COVID, when we met and we were discussing with it, why don't we combine forces? Because for a counseling setup, test preparation was a first step, like backward integration for Ubergrad. And Jaydeep and I gelled well, and we thought we could take the whole setup and move to the next step. So we joined forces and then we added the test preparation to Ubergrad. And then as we were running things, we realized that post-COVID students were really more online and, all these things started moving online. We felt that by adding tech, we could actually move the whole system or platform online and then enable the same process what we were doing earlier, but on the online front. So that's when we came up with a new, so we revamped the whole website, got up with new platform. So we came up with a new platform called do-it-yourself platform. So where the students can do things by themselves, but we will have, so they are different, we have come up with a membership system where students can sign up and then become a bronze member, silver member, gold member based on what they want. And if on a gold membership, we give them support of an expert, but everything is they do it, but we help them on the phone call or in Google Meet or a screen sharing kind of an app. So that's how we transform. So for growing this do-it-yourself platform, we thought we should raise some money and then push this whole thing forward on a fast pace. That's when we got in touch with Sarathi because they were referred to by one of my batchmates from IIM Calcutta. So we touched base with Sarathi, and then after we sent our initial data and all that, so they selected us for the Minds program, the first one. And so the part was when me and Jaydeep were thinking, so obviously we had so many things going on here. We thought we could do the 1, 2, 3, 4, so many things we were doing. But once we went through that exercise with Sarathi where they gave us those frameworks to run through each of those things. So that is when a lot of things became clear to us. We really boiled down to top 2 or 3 things which we should do so that we achieve the max. So whatever is our target audience to start with, so we zeroed down on what kind of target audience we have to come up with. So these are all in our head somewhere, but we were really not able to put it on paper. So obviously we were rushing in different directions, but because of that exercise which we did with Sarathi using their framework, so me and Jaydeep brainstormed a lot. We spent about 2-3 days on refining things, and also finally we came up with the top 3 things which we need to focus on, where we are attacking the maximum part of our target audience. And then finally, our product for us became very more clear. So we were very clear about, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to target. So that was the big, one very big thing which helped us in focusing clarity of what we need to go ahead in the next 6 months, next 12 months, next 18 months. That was the one part of it. Then now we were moved to the champions program. So they pushed us, they selected us, they liked the steps we have taken and all that, and they pushed us to the next program, which is the champions one. So right now we're in the stage where we are presenting to a lot of seed funds and venture capital early stage investors. I think we have done about 8 or 9 the big names and exchange. So those things are progressing. So we have got some queries coming back from those funds, and then we are giving back data to them and all that. So I think we spent about a month in the champions program, where we have done about 8-9 investor presentations plus follow-up presentations or follow-up data being sent to the investors based on the requested data. So that's where we stand on this.
Yeah, Ravindra, your journey from a service or another agency to the product, love to know that journey also. And where are you on that?
Okay, so like I said, when we started and the first 3 years when I ran this, it was more like the whole industry is more of a service-oriented industry where the students have their own requirement, and we as intermediaries provide service to the student. That is, we help them in shortlisting the universities, we help them in filling the applications and all that. So the competition was like there are about 20-25,000 consultants like that in the country alone in India. And everybody have their own market segment. So there are consultancies who do about 50 or 100 students in a year, to about consultancies like IDP who do about 25,000 students in a year. So it was more of a service. So we were always thinking in lines of how do we improve the service and all that kinds. But in that exercise with Sarthi, where we had 1 or 2 discussions with Giri sir and Sumit, then that's when we realized that, I think what we are trying to offer is a productization. We are trying to move the industry from a service to a product kind of a thing. So where we are coming up with this silver, gold, and memberships. So this is more like moving it into productization. So standardization is there, and where we are giving this kind of the service is moved from a service orientation to product. The whole concept that it's more of a product than a service was what the thought put in by Girish and the team there. So that is one big thing. So that's one more big thing which helped us in really aligning our thoughts and getting things going, bettering our presentation and all that. And obviously in a consumer tech space, if you are in a more of a product kind of a environment, you are more likely to draw investor interest than when you are just a service industry, because you are just cost plus model is what is going to work there. So that is one big plus we got from the Sarthi team. Really thanks to Girish sir and the rest of the team. Sarojji, our lead driver there. So that is a good part there.
And one more thing we liked about Ubergrad was that they had already a revenue stream in place, and they were wanting in that transition from service to product. They were not worried about revenue. So as an investor, the story is all about the change in the trajectory. So I'll be growing without funding from X to Y. I'll be going with funding from X to Z, which is say 15 degree, 30 degree better than Y. So that story is what is the taking to investors that need. We're needing money for the trajectory change only. So initially you have to get revenue, be it from service, be it from whatever, get that early revenue, and then see how you can productize your services. The lesson I got from Ubergrad, how they first got revenue and then they wanted to productize it to bring scale, and then
this will help us in scaling faster.
Yeah.
Correct.
And at times people get funding and then they experiment to convert service to product. That's always messy. At times a lot of leakage, wastage. But when you have the product and you are clear, that story becomes really strong. Yeah. What's your ARR, Ravindra, if you can share that also? And how much is coming from the product as on quickly?
Okay, so when so last financial year, so we were really not fully on the product. So we launched this product kind of a thing only in November 2022. So last year, our revenue was 2.2 crores. That is March 2023. But right now we are looking at about nearing about 3.6 to 4 crores. And from our productization, we are getting about 20% of our revenue now. That's what we are seeing.
Okay.
So this maybe in the next 3 years or something, we see that, the product side, the membership kind of revenue, other kind of revenues coming in from here would maybe reach to 40-45%.
Perfect. And in the 8-9 pitches, what was the common theme? What were easy questions? What were tough questions in your 8-9 pitches? Yeah.
So most of them were because a lot of people don't understand this industry per se, so because it is a very niche segment in the overall edtech space. So it took us time to explain them how the overall study abroad market works and all that. Then the typical questions were, how are you different from the regular consultant, or then so okay, and the kind of numbers we have hit the last 6-8 months, how have been growing and how is the numbers increasing there, and what is the kind of traction we have reached. So really, if you ask me, we have not hit by any difficult questions as of now. Complete bouncers kind of a thing. But yes, day before we had one call with a person, an US citizen who works in ETS, that is the English Testing Service company. So he's part of one of the angels in one of the networks. So he was like the key lead investor for EdTech for them. And they have invested large amounts of money in competitors of ours. So he was very knowledgeable about the industry. He understood. So he was one of the first guys whom we actually really enjoyed talking to, because we were talking the same language. So, and that session went for about 2 hours. So we thought initially for 1 hour, but obviously he was very interested to understand things, and we were also excited to tell him more and more about how we were trying to do it. So he asked a couple of more data points he wanted from our side, but he really liked the concept of going for that membership, trying to change that whole perception from a service to a product kind of a thing. That's what he really liked. That's what he said. This is something very unique I've seen so many presentations now, but in this sector specifically, this is something very new for me. So I like it. So he wanted more data on those things. So we are giving him next 2 days. We'll give him the data.
Perfect. Yeah. So team, I know some of you joined late, but we're open for questions for Ravindra and Jaideep. Jaideep is quiet today, but both of them are co-founders for Ubergrad. Open for questions for them.
Hello, hi Ravindra, Jaideep, this is Kaushik here. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Kaushik.
Okay, hi. I'll just turn on my video for a short while. I'm just driving, but yeah. Hi.
Yeah, we can see you.
So I'll just turn it off. Yeah. So my question was regarding the valuation to revenue, right? So handle those questions. I see, for instance, on one end of the spectrum, I see, for instance, like Mistral.ai, etc., right? 100 million euros. Just as your first employee, having joined them like 4 days back or last week, and versus you have guys who have actually very good revenue, but then the valuation related discussions sort of don't open up the deal basically. So I was just curious because you also mentioned that when you spoke to this guy, I mean, you guys were talking the same language. So I would assume that you would have had a bit of a task explaining to the investors exactly why your product is valuable and how you guys. So I was just curious to know from you guys how you were able to sort of handle those discussions, or what was some sort of tips and tricks, if I might say. Yeah.
So I missed the first part. Were you asking on how did we value ourselves or something like that in those lines?
Kind of, yeah. Or revenue multiple or valuation, yeah. Those lines.
Yeah.
Frankly speaking, this is the first time we are trying to raise external money. So I haven't actually gone and raised money earlier from external. So valuation becomes a bit tricky when you are the first time, when looking at first time investor, and maybe we cannot look at, and we are in a space which is more like in that we are in an, though we are called edtech, typically we are more in a consumer tech kind of a space. So we are
Right.
use
Right.
technology to better a process which is already there for last maybe 20, 30 years, and there is a lot of more players in the market who are doing it for quite some time now. So,
Right.
so it's a very stable kind of an business and all that. So revenue multiples, I think, would actually value as very low.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So and since we are the first time, so we generally had one discussion with Giri sir and team, and we came up with one number where we felt it was reasonable for us to go to an investor with this kind of a number. They would not, feel frightened and say, "What is this guy asking?" That kind of stuff. So there was not much of science involved in arriving at that valuation number, but it was more like, because per se this industry is a well-established industry, and the revenue numbers,
Correct.
revenue
Correct.
multiples don't work
Yeah.
out in our favor is one step. Second thing is, since the Sarathi team has seen so many other companies like this, and we raising money for the first time, so we had a mutual internal discussion between us, and then felt this number should be a decent number where we are comfortable, and the investor also would be comfortable to come ahead with that for this one. That was where how we came up with that number.
I'll also add a couple of points to what Ravindra said. So first part, so far we have reached out to investors, right? But we never had a discussion so deep into whether they agree with the valuation or not. I think they come to that the very last stage, I guess. So far the discussions we had was always on whether they should bet on us or not. I think as long as the ask from our side doesn't seem very outrageous, the people never really got into that question. So we had, as what Mr. Ravindra said, we presented for almost 7 to 8 people, and we had at least average 1 to 2 rounds with each one of them so far. None of them really questioned us in terms of whether we are valuing ourselves high or low. Their question was always, how do you distinguish yourself from others, and do you think you can, win over the others in terms of this game in the long term?
Okay.
Like I think as long as the ask is not very high, and as what Mr. Ravindra said, Girish sir and team really helped us to come up. See, as founders, we always feel that we are underselling ourselves. Okay, that's
Right.
something we also felt. Right,
Yeah,
as investors, they always feel that you are overselling yourself. That's also, I think, part of it. But I think as long as the band they're willing to spend and the band you're willing to accept is overlapping somewhere, I think you're good to go, right? Examples, as you said, with no funding, no revenue, 100 million versus with big revenue and very limited valuation. I think it also is coming down from the background of the founders, as in their past experience. That's something that I constantly get to hear or see, right?
Correct.
So if you have proven success, I think people are willing to bet on you more than you are someone, even for your startup. I'll also tell you there's another competitor in our space who is doing twice as us in terms of revenue for the last year, and they raised at a valuation of 10x as what we're asking, to be frank.
Okay.
So the question is that I think they already raised 2 rounds, and now this one was a 3rd round for them. Okay. As compared to us, we have never been in the funding game so far. This is the first time. I think there's baby steps everyone wants us to take. Unless I think you are like this physics wala with a huge revenue. I think you call it like 1 crore or you call it 10 crores. I think you will be more or less valued at similar levels if you have never raised a funding. That's the feel that I get. I think there's no fixed formula for anything at early stage. It's more in terms of people want to see if they can bet on you or not, as long as it's within an ask of less than 500,000 or 1 million. I think you do it. Anything more than that, I think, is where you have to really justify with a lot of other things. So which is not our case, at least for now. So
Okay. Oh, cool. Thanks for that answer. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, good question, Kaushik. Yeah. Go ahead,
Hi.
Ibadat. Yeah.
Hi. Yes. Hi, Ravindra. Hi, Jerry. This is Ibadat from Dogobo. My question to both of you is, I like you mentioned that you've been a part of many investor meetings. So, what according to both of you is like the most important metric where you see probably like the expression change of them getting like their interest peaking, or I understand that all investors come from different backgrounds, so like their criteria of judging a startup might be different, but like what do you think, like profitability or number of users or like what according to both of you is like the most important or something that really excites them? What metric is that?
See, at least in our product, so what we were talking about was, so that the first thing is the number of users registered on the website, then the percentage of them converting to paid membership, which is silver, gold, and then the last thing is about people who finally enrolled in the university and the university pays us commission. But that is the major chunk of revenue coming in for us. So except for the expert whom we spoke to yesterday, the rest of them were focused on the registrations, the conversions to paid members on the silver and the gold front, because that was what we were trying to tell in terms of changing into the product side.
Right.
So I think that's how the investors would be focused on. So they understand that the major chunk of revenue comes from the fourth step, which is your enrollment. But they are saying that if you can grow your pipeline from the registrations to the paid membership of silvers and golds, automatically the funnel will lead you to the larger number of enrollments, which is the logic, typical common sensical logic. So that's where they were more focused on. So we were more questioned on kind of traction you're achieving in these numbers. How are we going to achieve the numbers we projected in these parameters, that kind of stuff. Very little kind of revenues we are going to earn or kind of profitability we are going to get over a period of time.
Right. So mainly like users and like the what is the retention and all that.
Correct. And maybe the cost of acquisition per user today, what we are spending versus if we get funding, how does it change? Is it going to increase, decrease? And even if it goes in that pace, how many are we going to get in the future? All those kind of things.
Right. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So essentially your GTM and your sales essentially your GTM and your sales pipeline, right? And then how you plan.
Sort of. Yeah. So because we were talking about early stage, because we are looking at this productization. So we were trying to raise money for this productization concept. The old concept was not what is interesting for anybody. So the whole thing which we started from November, which is the new thing which we got in, is what we are looking at for funding to raise that whole graph of that product. So that's where they were asking in those lines only, because you are looking at that thing. So let us know what you have done till from November to June. What is your story? And how do you think this June to the next, let's say next 3 years, how are you going to go about it?
Right. Good, got it.
We are on time. Yeah. Any last question for Team Ubergrad? Okay. So Ravindra, Jadip, you can stay for the next presentation also. We've got Ashay from Prep Insta. He's in a slight crisis. That's why he may not be able to. But Ashay, if you can turn on your video for 2 seconds, and then we can hear
hi
you.
guys. Just I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible, Ashay.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. Just let me.
Sure, Ashay. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll introduce Prep Insta. So Prep Insta, the story is about 3 founders from, I'm forgetting the engineering school, but they started their startup with 1 rupee. And today they are at a ARR of, I think, 2 crore plus. It's a edtech, and they are into the upskilling game. So they are an upskilling startup which upskills. So edtech is divided into 3: K-12, test prep, and upskilling. And of course, there is upgrad and all these who are into upskilling, but they are into the short duration course upskilling, and they've got a ARR of 2 crore plus. They already have 4 or 5 IC level conversations going on. So in fact, we've stopped reaching out to more investors for them for that reason only, that there are 4 or 5 investment committee means partner level or GP level conversations going on. Yeah, Ashay, over to you.
Yeah,
it's a
hi
VIP
guys.
startup.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm really sorry I'm not in the outfit and all. I'm at a friend's place today. So I'll just switch off the camera and we can get started.
Go ahead, Ashay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So hi everybody. Nice to meet you all. This is my first interaction with the other co-founders that we joined, and more or less, I think I would like to discuss about more or less what happened since we joined Sarthi, and just
before the history part also, the history of a little about your journey, up to this ARR, and then the Sarthi part. Ashish, go ahead.
Yeah, so just to give a backdrop of like what we have built. So we and the other two co-founder with me, we are from VIT Vellore. We are 2016 pass out. We after engineering, we all got placed in Bangalore, and we realized कि engineering inside engineering there are a lot of challenges that students face in terms of getting the job and in terms of placement preparation. It is very easy when you're from a tier 1 college, you get 5-10 job offers very easily, but the moment you're from a tier 2 or even a tier 3 college, or even from a non-computer science background in a tier 1 college itself, you face these kind of challenges that placement is not very easy, and there is no structured platform out there where you can get all the relevant information that you need to prepare for placement. You have information and it is available in YouTube, it is available in Google, but it's just like in parts you can get those information. So I think because we got so many offers in our college period, a lot of juniors reached out to us, and they discussed more or less about how about how the placement segment works completely. And that is something that really inspired us to build this product. Over the years, we started back in 2018 with 3 of us, shifted to Noida, Delhi NCR by 2019, build a product, and the overall product design and the product itself is all about making sure that students who are in their pre-final and final year get to solve these challenges that they face in their placement journey and upskill themselves with the current requirement in the industry. So yeah, so that happened, and the product itself has done well. We get around somewhere around 1 to 1.2 million users coming on the website every month, and the ARR that we are closed right now in the previous was around 7 CR or something, 6.5 to 7 CR, with 54% gross profit. In terms of numbers, we are doing well. We have, had ample amount of interactions with different VCs, and yeah. So while Jaideep was saying, I was listening to his points, which he covered, I think, very correctly about how VCs react to early stage startups like ours, and it was kind of a similar story with us, more or less. They do not care about how what is the number of valuation until unless it's not in like too high range. That was the correct way. And what they really look for, and at least for a business like ours, is how much the user is spending time in your platform, how much is he utilizing your platform over a period of time. I think that has been a very focal point with a lot of VCs. And one more thing that I thought and I realized over a period of time is, depending on different VCs, they have their own different mindset to what works. So, for example, somebody might not see your valuation number as big or less. They might not focus on that at the first grasp, but they also at times, might end up asking you questions related to why the valuation number is that. I think valuation will come into picture. It will eventually do. It completely depends on which VC at what level they are interested to talk about it. But the fair base ground has to be, the underlining statement has to be there. You have to have a valuable product out there where the users actually enjoy. Something that we in Prep&Star we really boast about internally is the love for the product that the students have. They tend to make sure that they tell their juniors. We have around 82% of sale done organically, and they tell their juniors, okay, you prepare from Prep&Star if you want to get placed. Sorry. So for that niche specific segment, this has worked for us. Now the idea for the VC rounds and IC round is to expand both vertically and horizontally, and we have a lot of plans in motion. So just taking those steps forward as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Ashay. So two questions which VCs came out and kind of we had to work really hard for Rep Insta was, the first was kind of a saturation of their obtainable market, the TAM and the
Yeah.
optimal market. That was the one question which VCs felt, यार यहाँ पे तो आप hero हो. In your final year upskilling of engineering students, you are a hero. How much can you
Yeah.
grow just with that TAM? So that was one key question which a lot of Manthan had to go into finding out what is the story. And we got lovely answers also. But once that Manthan happened, the answers which came out also were really powerful. So actually, I would like you to share about that. But I'll also add the second question and then you can share about both.
Yeah.
The second was the fund utilization. You were asking
Correct.
for 3 million or then it changed to 2 million. What do you do with the money? Because VCs are always afraid that when founders have a lot of money, what do? They waste a lot of it, right? So that's their worry, that to have a good plan to use this money. Because my money is
Correct.
as valuable as the money you are earning and putting back into the business. What are you going to do with the money? And that's where
Right.
kind of, again, we had to go back to the Manthan and give a strong answer to this question also of fund utilization. So these are two
Right.
things.
So correct.
Go ahead,
Correct.
Ashish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very recently, like we worked on this whole presentation. I'll answer the second question first, because the fund utilization is something that is that is very important to make sure that you have a clear agenda in your mind. So while we were in one VC meeting, I'll tell you guys a story. We were in one VC meeting and we were planning how in the meeting only we were discussing how are we going to spend the money and what are our plans and completely. So while in that discussion we realized that there are certain criterias that we always thought while building our product that is very valuable, and we always made sure this is something that is actually going to give us an exponential growth. And because of being a constraint to how we have run our startup, it was quite not possible to put in all the effort and operations and money into it. And we always believed that that might be the correct way to go forward. But while discussing with a lot of VCs, we realized that that is not something that should be a sole focus. There are other segments that are very, very important. And I think the more we discuss, the more we talk to people in the similar domain, same segment, we get to have a better idea about how things works. Like, for example, Ubergrad just discussed about their payouts that they get from the colleges as a referral for the students and all those criteria. A B2B segment is very important, and to make sure that your business has a lot of retention to the users. So the reason that I'm answering the second question first is because the way that we plan to spend our fund actually solved the first question on its own. We realize that being a startup that has been built from bootstrapped completely with a cockroach mentality and hard work, tedious, long times, and we have realized this thing that the organic channels have been very well for us. We have around 1.5 million users on our social media combined everywhere, and it has been a very good direction that we have done so far. The idea was to now make sure that instead of pushing for performance marketing, instead of pushing for inorganic growth, why not push for something where you can get a bigger segment? And that has something really helped us to realize that B2B is a very, very critical and important segment for us. So as of now, we are a team of 100 people, somewhere around 85 and 15 to 20 interns. And in the B2B segment, where we reach out to colleges for a complete product for their first year to fourth year students, everybody. And in that segment, we have started, I think, more or less 6 months ago with 2 people working. And we have got a good number there. We have around 30 colleges done. And this has been done in the last 6 months. So the idea was to make sure that B2B is something that we focus more on, and a lot of tool that needs to be developed across it. So the fund utilization has to be very proper. I'm really sorry to drag you all into this story, but basically the fund utilization has to be very smart. You have to make sure that you're able to capture the bigger set of numbers and a higher retention rate, at least for the edtech domain that we are. and a B2B kind of a segment helps a lot in that. So when we told the VCs that the fund utilization will be more focused on B2B side, partially focused on the product and marketing side, that tend to entice them, that tend to make them like the idea that we have built. And now answering the first question, the TAM size. So we basically operate with students who are in their third and final year and engineering students. So the idea of B2B would be the correct step to take forward to increase TAM. Is basically you capture the first and to fourth year all students. And then eventually you go on and capture the students who have just passed out, who are looking to upskill and reskill. So we did a thorough analysis of how do you create more SOM across. And the step has to be made sure that you go from one segment and interlink it to another segment that makes sense. So for example, very simply, a lot of preparation and for any service based and product based companies a little bit similar to somebody who is working as an associate or data associate at ZS or PwC or any analytics company. So a transition of your product and those segment to capture those audience will make more sense. So I think this is something that we over the period of time realize that this is also very important, that you grow by picking up a similar kind of a domain where it is easy for you to expand and capture more audience and more user. And then comes the bigger picture and the bigger fish, which is the international market. And for us being an edtech company, international market has a lot of scope. Dubai and all the UAE countries have a lot of students focused learning programs going on, and I think that is also has been a segment for us. And the reason that this question came into picture was, if you guys know about a startup based out of US called Masterclasses, where they had a similar kind of offering that we have at Prep Insta Prime, is where you buy subscription and you get all the courses and basically a Netflix for upskilling and extracurricular learning. So Masterclasses hit a roof. They had this issue that after a period of time they hit a saturation level. So that is something that VCs know about, and they reflect whenever they see any kind of a subscription based model where there is a cap of hitting a roof kind of a scenario. They tend to ask those questions, and I think we are still navigating those waters. But overall, the navigation so far, and all the plans that we have made so far has actually given us a right direction. Having discussion with Girish sir, having a feedback from other team members at Sarthi like Priyanshu and all has helped us a lot. So I think this is something that these two questions are very important that were asked to us, and I think that is how we navigated those challenges as of now.
You want to talk about the lifetime value increase also with
Yeah,
the
sure.
same customer? Yeah, you can talk about that
Yeah,
also. Yeah,
right. So I think it all makes sense. It all comes together and makes sense. So just imagine with me, guys, like you have somebody who is from third year and fourth year who is purchasing your product. Now they purchased your product for a subscription model and like Netflix, and they got like for 6 months. Now you have to make sure that you increase the user retention as much as you can. You make sure that the user purchases your product over and over a period of time. So for that, the number one thing is you provide value. I think I might not have touched upon this in the early segment of when I was starting about all prep and stuff. It is very important that you create a product that actually has a value. That is the end all be all. I'm being very honest here. If you don't create a valuable product, if you don't have a product you genuinely know is not going to help out students, not going to work out. People see through. Now everybody is very smart into understanding what works and what does not. We we get 1 to 2 refund cases per month. That's all, like 1 or 2. That is all we refund out, and we have 100% refund policies. We get like 10 student reach out to us, sir, give me a refund, I'm not satisfied with the product. And out of those 10, we give out only 1 or 2, because 8 of them initially take a call with us and get an understanding of what the product is. Maybe they are confused, maybe they are facing challenges technically, and all those things get sorted out, and they love the product. And at the end of the day, our NPS score is above 50. Students tend to like what we are actually able to give them. They really like the product because it is helping them out. So user retention will make a lot of sense if you cater to somebody who is in fourth year. For us, somebody who is in third and fourth year, we give them a yearly subscription or something like that. And if they really got placed from us, if they really enjoyed the product and had a good result out there. In the future, if they want to upskill themselves, and in the current domain, everybody is upskilling. People from even non-technical background are upskilling into technical background. Everybody is talking about chat GPTs and with generative imitation AIs and all of these things. So technology and upskilling yourself has become a very, very important segment right now. So it makes a lot of sense for the user who has already successfully used the product, and then there is a good recall value. He knows, okay, this is a product that I have used and I'll go back to it because it has given me a good result. Hence, increasing the user retention, hence increasing the LTV. Upgradation of your product, you always should have a plus on add-ons that you should give to a user over a period of time. That also helps in a lot of push to the LTV. Our average cart value is around 6499. And the LTV that we have as of now is around 7,800, 7,700 dish in that segment. So we make sure that the student pays one more time. We make sure that they make their payment again, and it has to go like that. If you create a product, so one thing that I would say is not the not the general way or the generic way to start for us was, we started with fourth year students. We started with direct goal oriented preparation, like I want to get placed in this company, I want to get placed in that company, kind of a segment. And usually any startup who starts in this segment, they start with first year student. They start with learn C, learn basic coding, learn those. So we have to track back. We have to go back from fourth year to third year customer, second year customer, first year customer, to make sure that they know what the product is. At this moment, we have captured the third and fourth year market. The long-term goal is to make sure that we go down and cover the first and second year market as well for the engineering student, and then expand. So so they buy in first year, they buy again in second year, and hence increasing the user retention and LTV of the product. So B2B
Great.
and B2C are the two segments where we are, like, this way we are looking for growth.
Great, Ashay. Yeah, we can open for questions. Thanks, Ashay, for taking us through the startup journey and
Yeah.
Open for questions, team. Anybody has any questions for Ashay? I know both are similar to EdTech, but I felt different learnings from Ubergrad also and PrepInsta also. Yeah. PrepInsta is technically looking for a Series A round, I think 2 million or slightly more. So they are a Series A level startup. Yeah. Go ahead. We open for questions.
Hi, this is Kaushik here from Swasthya. Just a quick
Hi,
question.
Kaushik.
Hi. I mean, I've had some interactions with a few investors, and some of them are really, really interested about how you're going to scale up and what are your things. And certain others who say, no, scalability sab baad mein dekha jayega, right? I don't care about scalability. So I mean, I'm not saying one approach is right or the other is wrong, but I'm just actually a bit curious because mine is also a SaaS health tech startup. So for general SaaS things, the cost of introducing scalability is quite cheap, right?
Right.
I mean, what I mean is the development cost. So that is quite cheap. So I'm just curious how you guys followed. I mean, did you guys take care of scalability right at the start, or I guess said, nahi, it's okay, right? You can see that later.
This question I can answer in two parts. The first part where you mentioned that few VCs are looking into scalability and few are not. I think that is something that is very generic. I was talking to the other co-founder the other day, and we had this thing, yaar, boss, until unless we don't meet 200 VCs, I don't think we'll get any funding done. And the reason was because everybody has a different mentality. So you might click with somebody, you might not click with somebody. It goes like that. It just completely depends on, someday you're lucky and somebody likes what you're pitching and you click with them. They have the similar mindset and you grow together. I think that is something that will happen to every. Sorry.
No, I think that was just nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, I think it completely depends on how that person is and how their ideology is of their funding and how what they see towards how what growth is important. So I think scalability will completely depend on how you see it. Okay. And you don't see, you as a founder have to, as a founder always believed, is provide a good product to the user. We always believed that, scalability and all of this. So for us, scalability would have been going into other segments without even capturing the segment that we are there. We wanted to become leaders at segment where we are. We wanted to make sure that everybody in that segment knows us. Then only will be able to grow. Now, it would work. Scalability factor completely depends on what kind of a startup you are and completely depends on what kind of numbers you are pushing. Uh, why? Because for us being a bootstrap startup, we have to pick and choose our missions. We have to choose whether we can build this or we can build that. Right. It was always there. Like, for example, very simple thing, performance marketing. We have not spent a lot of money in performance marketing. And we realized that in the last 6 months only we started, and we are a 4-year-old startup. In the last 6 years only we started performance marketing, and we realized ki, okay, this is giving us good ROAS. Yeah, I can do this. And at the same time, there was a B2B relationship with the college where they reached out to us and they told us, okay, now I am giving you this X amount of money. Now you make sure that you provide me a better SaaS product where I can track my users and students and their study percentages and all of those metrics. So I think we had to push away from performance marketing into something else. So for us, scalability came. I don't think scalability has yet come, and I think we have to pick and choose what we are doing, and we have to make sure we are profitable every month by month, because that is how we are. And I think that that directed us in a direction. It did not choose. It did not made us choose scalability, yes or no, or whatever. It just pushed us in a direction where, okay, now you have to do this. I think that is the way I can summarize this. Yeah.
Because I mean, just give a little bit of context. So there are some investors or some VCs whose opinion, I mean, who gave very good insights, right? Very sharp insights, and fantastic asking about scalability. And there were
we are
others
losing you, I think, because of network. We are losing you because of network, Kaushik. Yeah?
And they were saying, no, ignore scalability. So, oh, sorry, are you able to hear me now?
We are losing you in the middle, Kaushik.
Sorry.
Someone else ask the question, then we can take your question, Kaushik. If someone else has a question,
sure.
Thanks.
Hi, I wanted to ask a question. Hi, Ashi, this is Ibadat from Dogobo. My question to hi. So my question to you actually is that have you like you already mentioned that scalability is something you look at when you mastered the segment you're in, but have you like what is actually your take on going further lower in the educational funnel, basically targeting the 10th, 11th, 12th graders and figuring out what that is something that
straightforward no. Yeah. So I'm really sorry about that. I just gave it answer like that. I'll explain you also. So it does not make sense for us, number one. And number two, why it does not make sense for us is because that is a saturated business where a lot of big players are, fighting across and, spoiling their own name. And, we all know about them right now. Everybody knows about them, what they are doing. Okay. So the idea was going down the funnel won't be a good idea as of now. With the vision that we have in the company is if you are 18 to 30-year-old, even 35, 36, whatever you want to learn in the long term, in the future, in the down the 10, 15-year period, we see that everything that you want to learn between 18 to 35, 36 is there on this platform. Like Netflix is there for your entertainment value. Prep Insta Prime is there for your upskilling and reskilling and learning value. And this is how we look at in our product in a longer term. But as of now, going down the line, because see, with the offerings that we have, we are not an expert in IIT preparation. We are not an expert in MBBS preparations. We are not an expert in CA preparation, CS preparations. We are not in that segment. We have not ever done that, and don't think that would be a correct fit for us. What makes us good is coding, different segments of coding. We are good at uh, interviews, we are good at HR prep, we are good at interview prep, and we are good at general upskilling and learning new skills. These
Right.
skills are not very much required when you are in the lower funnel of 10th, 11th, 12th, and and the basic of C and C++ are the only two courses so that 11th, 12th student can do. But I don't think we'll be able to pull out more numbers from that segment, because any student who is studying in 11th and 12th would not spend 10,000 rupees to learn a skill, and they would rather learn it in school and on their own. So I don't think that would be a good idea for us. I think expanding on the upper side would be a much better way for us to go.
Okay. Got it, Ashay. Got it. Thank you.
Any last question for Ashay? If anyone does not have, I'll request Kaushik. Yeah. Yeah, Kaushik, you can ask your second question.
Yeah, thanks. The thing is, it was, you guys able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, Kaushik.
Okay. Thanks. So it was on for your particular actually prep insta. How did you guys go about? I mean, it was again related to scalability, because this was something which, to be very frank, we as founders are confused, right? To be very frank. So some of us believe that yes, we should target scalability, and there is another school of thought that, hey, you know what, it's okay, ditch it. Right, like baat mein, when we are signing the PO, so that time we can bother about scalability. So I just so my quick question to you guys is, what did you guys do with respect to scalability, since you're also SaaS? So did you guys take care of scalability right from the start, or did you guys say, oh, it's okay,
When it comes, when it comes, I think so we are not a typical SaaS product. We are a website. We have two websites. One is blog, which is called prepinsta.com, which is top of the funnel blog website where we get the massive amount of users, and we have another website which is Prepinsta Prime, which is like a Netflix kind of a website. You can go and and learn under a subscription plan. You can learn all those courses. We had to create an internal SaaS product for colleges, because there is where the tracking, all the learning stuff happens, where you track the student, where students are learning, and those segments are happening
Right.
in specific of SaaS. Right. So I think for us, the SaaS part has just came into picture in the last 6 to 7, 8 months. And we are still
Okay.
building a SaaS where we are giving it to colleges directly. And eventually, the SaaS that we are designing would be more of a CMS kind of a tool, where it would be easy to onboard any other college, and it completely will be depending on the database side and AWS side as a functionality.
Right.
So
Right.
right, so I think for us, the SaaS is a very not very complex to scale.
Complex. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
not very complex to scale, I would say, because over the years we have seen, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys know about different tech startups out there with SaaS products, where you can go and track your performance and how the student is performing and everybody this and that. So we are basically creating a similar segment like that. But I think the plus point why are setting up, why we set ourselves apart from the rest of the players out there, is the kind of goal oriented, high quality premium product that we are offering to the students at a price value where nobody is uncomfortable to purchase the product. When we are talking about any college student, it is very easy to get the money, that amount of money out and spend it on the product. So it becomes, you create a product that is high quality, it has a high premium value to it, the way it is taught, the way it is created is good, and the ask is quite reasonable. The scalability will eventually come on its own. So I think I think scalability for us would be a pretty easy thing. But as of now, to answer your question, we have not actually, as I said, not actually gone into that segment. And the second part, ki jo hoga, jaisa hoga, fir dekhenge. I think that is what is going on as of now.
Okay.
We are
Okay.
building. No. That's the reality. See,
Right,
being
right.
a bootstrap startup, you have to
Correct.
plan
Yeah.
every month. Okay, how much revenue we are making. We have to
Right.
make sure we have a team of 85 people. I have to make
Right.
out that everybody's salaries and all those things are, churning
Right.
out,
Right.
and you're
Absolutely.
profitable
Yeah.
every time. And at the
Right.
same time, you're
Absolutely.
growing your student base. So we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
over in this 12-year period, in this 12-month period, last 12 months, we have clocked somewhere around 8 CR. Previous 12 months, we were around 3.5. So we made sure that we double our revenue within a year. We have to make sure that we keep on doing what we were doing the last year, making sure that our learnings, what we are making sure is getting replicated year by year and month by month. I think that is something that we are at this moment looking for. I think when the money comes into the bank through VCs, I think that is the point when we will actually look into scalability. And for us, it would be an easy segment because, as I said, B2B, similar
Correct.
product to
Correct.
different
Yeah.
colleges.
Yeah. Yeah. Got that. Got it. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for that answer, Ashish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denny from Metroid has a question on they are developing a deep tech product. And when they're reaching out to angel investors, folks are saying, we want to see your development journey, but we will come in only when you crack revenues. So what was your, in that stage, when you got your initial revenues, you were alpha product or you were, what was your journey in that stage?
So we deep tech product, it will take time, to be honest, to get that revenue, because you build that product, it takes a lot of time to build that high tech product. And for us, it was not like that. The initial product that we had was a PDF. Like, we had a blog website where you can go ahead and purchase PDFs and just prepare from those PDFs. So you can pick and choose one, where you pick and choose that revenue is important, or you pick and choose whether your high tech product is ready, and then you will make the revenue. I think for us, the money that being bootstrapped, again, I have to
So
say
you
the
did
same
jugards
word.
to actually get the revenue, huh?
Yeah,
You did
yeah, yeah,
your
yeah. We had to.
early jugards. I understand.
I'll be. वो होता ही है. फ्लिपकार्ट में बुक लेके घूम रहा था, हम भी पीडीएफ लेके घूम रहे थे. It was there. Our blog, I'll tell you guys. So our first blog hit Alexa rating within 6 months of India 500 under 500. Because of the search engine so I had a good knowledge of search engine optimization. I had done good work before also on the same, and we knew how to optimize organically through marketing. Atulya is very sharp into product and marketing. So I think that is something that we focus more on completely. Just a second, Girish sir. I think Atulya is calling. I'm just putting myself in
No,
mute.
fine.
Maybe I'll try to get him.
I think we are done, Ashay. Thanks
Yeah.
for your time. Thanks. You can exit. In fact, Jaideep, Ravindra, thanks for your time here. Really nice of you to come and share your journeys. So we'll be in touch. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys.
Bye.
It was wonderful
Yeah.
interacting. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So we can take a 2-minute break if required. But when we are back, cameras on, audio mute for this visualization exercise. I don't know how many of you know about neuro-linguistic program, Matumi. You are what you believe is the reality of life. So I believe I'm a future Ambani. The universe will conspire to make me that future Ambani, right? At times sounds cliche, but I believe in the power of neuro-linguistic programming, and I've created a small exercise, 10 minutes only. So we'll be back at 6:07, right? 6:04 now on my clock. 6:07 will be black. That time videos on, cameras on, and audio mute. And I'll take you through this exercise, right? All good? Yeah. We'll be back in by 6:07. Thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Any questions, comments while others are joining? Gaurav, Bhavna? Yeah. So turn on your video and mute. So we'll communicate through hand signals. You can turn on your video and mute yourself. I'm waiting for 1-2 folks more to join also. So meanwhile, any comments or questions from anyone? Wednesday and Thursday are the last opportunity to present full VP. Again, if you want, I'll be sharing the pitch deck for the 20th of July demo day from 5 to 7:30 p.m. where we'll have angel investors plus mentor investors of past cohort also. We'll evaluate and select champions, conditional champions, or we'll give you gaps that when you achieve these milestones, you'll be ready for champions, right? So that's the plan for demo day in that pitch format. So ideally, if you are clear on your next journey, if you not any major changes in the full VP, you can straight away start working on your demo day pitch, right? And we'll be giving you by Wednesday, depending upon the presentations, if any, we'll be giving you the report card for the full VP also in that same record document. If you see the record document, it has additional rows for giving you more feedback. Again, request you all to use the sheet 1 to maintain your journey. So you're getting so many new insights from Ubergrad, from it. So if you can maintain your journey also in sheet 1, it will be useful as we engage 3 months, 6 months, and all down the line. So that's the plan. Yeah. So in another 60 seconds, I'll start. Any questions or any comments, anyone? I'm happy to take that.
So on demo day, the pitch, will there be like a format that, because
Yeah, I'll share
we
that
have
today. No, I'll share a format today. If you are meeting that format, very good. It has content only, what all should be there in your pitch, plus the FAQs of do's and don'ts. So I'll share that today, right? Today in the group only, I'll share the format and the guidelines for the demo day.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, so Bhavna and Nayan and Danny, can you turn on your video? It'll be great if you can turn on your video. A request again, Bhavna, Nayan and Danny, if you can turn on your video, or if you just put it in the comments if you're unable to turn on your video. In traffic, Danny. Okay. Fine, Danny. Not the best way to do this exercise in traffic, but still you can listen in as others do this exercise. Yeah. And Bhavna and Nayan, any comments from you? If you are able to turn on the video or no? Okay, Nayan's also internet connection is slow, so he won't be able to turn on. Yeah, last Bhavna. Bhavna's joining in a minute. Okay. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so thanks everyone, and thanks for agreeing to participate in this visualization exercise, what I call, or it's a form of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. I am not an NLP practitioner, but I do this exercise at the middle of the cohort and then move into the demo days. And the theory behind this is that you are what you believe, right? So if I believe that I'm a future unicorn founder, there's a good probability that I'll become a future unicorn founder. So, and we'll do this together, 10 minutes exactly, right? By the clock, we'll do it in 10 minutes. You have to be relaxed. Your hands have to be free, right? Ideally, you can keep it open. We'll communicate via only hand signals. So the audio is off. I'll ask you to speak out something. You speak out to yourself. So we won't hear each other. Just communicate. If you understand what I'm saying, just communicate this way or this way if you don't understand. 10 minutes exactly, yeah. So start with just closing your eyes and just focusing on your breath. Just close your eyes and for the next 45 seconds, focus on your breath. Just breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, while you're focusing on your breath, just keep an eye on your thoughts. Just watch them come and go away. They could be happy thoughts, worries. Just watch your thoughts as they come and go away. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your eyes closed always and your hands open. Don't lock your hands, just keep them open, either facing upwards or downwards, both it's okay. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. See if your breath has slowed down. Ideally, it should have slowed down by now. So you're breathing slowly. Breathe in, deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now we are going to go into dreamland. We are going to let our imagination follow our imagination. So imagine your startup as a baby, right? And I'm going to refer to the baby as she during this entire exercise. So imagine your startup as your baby and she's in your lap, right? She's a small baby, yeah. And she's in your lap and you're cuddling her. Can you see that baby in your hand? Can you imagine and see that baby in your hands? You're looking at her with a lot of affection. It's your baby, and this is what you wanted. So touch and feel your baby. Just feel her textures, right? And while you are touching feeling your baby, some thoughts are coming into your mind about the baby. Could be thoughts of worry. What will she become when she grows up? Hope she stays healthy. Could be thoughts of happiness. I'm so happy that I have you in my lap. Just stay with those thoughts and emotions. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, when you look at your baby, there are some emotions which come out. Could be emotions of happiness. Just say those emotions out loud. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slowly try and get a smile on your face. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. So now we'll go into the future. So you're sitting relaxed in an armchair like you're sitting now and watching the calendar. The date is 10th of July, 2028. So it's 10th of July, 2028. And you're sitting in your relaxed in your chair. It's around 6:37 p.m. and your Broby's grown up now. She's already working and she's outside. And this is the time she comes home. So eagerly looking at the clock, it's around 6:37 p.m. Can you see that clock? And the calendar with the date of 10th of July, 2028, and the clock showing between 6:30 and 7 p.m. Can you see them? And then the bell rings and you open the door and your baby comes in and she's all excited saying, we've achieved what we had thought we could achieve. And she has the Economic Times in her hand. And her name is there saying she's a unicorn or she's raised this amount of funding or she's the ET startup of the year. So that headline is there. Can you see that Economic Times in her hand with the headlines that she's won the startup of the year or she's the entrepreneur of the year? Can you see that Economic Times in your hand? In her hand? Can you see it? Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. So when you see this and when you see the excitement in your baby, there's so much of emotion coming into you. So I want you to say out aloud the emotion which comes into you. I'm feeling. Let's say it out loud, as much loud as you can say. I'm feeling. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Don't let that smile flatten. Let it be a nice C. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now repeat after me as loud as you can. This is my new reality. This is my new truth. And I declare it to be true. This is my new reality. This is my new truth. And I declare it to be true. This is my new reality. This is my new truth. And I declare it to be true. Say it out loud as you can. Let your emotions come out. This is my new reality. This is my new truth. And I declare it to be true. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now slowly get your awareness back to your breath. Watch it go in and watch it come out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And you can now slowly open your eyes. Let the smile be there. You can open your eyes. And stay with these feeling sensations for another 5 minutes. Just stay where you are. Thanks and bye.